Coach, can you talk about your young guys' ability to compete on those last couple of possessions? You had Carl Anthony Towns on the wing against Dylan Brooks, and he competed his butt off to really fight on that possession. Can you talk about that?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's who Dylan is. We've seen it time and time again this year. You know, even in the preseason, whenever there was a matchup to be had, Dylan would find his way to that matchup. And, you know, he's competitive as all get out. He is, you know, he's dogged in his defensive ways, and he's just not going to back down. So everything you get versus him, you're going to have to earn it. And then Andrew Harrison was unbelievable on the ball. They ran screens to try to get Jimmy Butler free, and Andrew did a great job of wedging through and forced him into taking tough, you know, take that tough shot at the end. And then they knew their guys were behind them, and that's when you can defend that way. You can put that pressure on the ball when you trust your teammates are behind you.
Coach, can you just talk a little bit about just the sensation of having that monkey off your back at the end of the streak and what the mood was in the locker room?
There was a lot of energy in the locker room, to say the least. You know, it's been a while, and you almost forgot what it felt like, you know, to win because guys want it so bad, and they're so emotionally invested. You know, every loss that kept piling up became, you know, a heavier and heavier weight. So it's awesome for those guys in that locker room. You know, they've stuck with it. You know, they've gone through tough times, but they've continued to believe in themselves and each other. And, you know, tonight was a great reward for them. But like we said in the locker room, you know, this is not where we want to be. You know, this is just one of many. And we're still building, we're still digging, and we'll continue to do that.
JB, did you see any signs from the last couple games, specifically in Cleveland, that led to what you saw on the court tonight at the finish?
Yeah, I think so. The grit, right? I think it was the grit. You know, in tough situations, loose balls, you know, defensive rebounding, 50-50 balls, you know, those efforts, I think they were there and they had been building. And tonight we were able to come up with those plays. But you got to look at defensively what we did, you know, to hold that team to 17 points in the fourth quarter. You know, to be able to defend, I mean, all-stars, really good offensive players, the way we did. You know, all that started, you know, kind of took us back to the way we were defending the beginning of the season, you know, when we were challenging people. So we're heading in the right direction, but, you know, moral victories only go so long. You know, sometimes you need to chalk one up on that board.
Coach, you talked about Harrison defensively. He's a guy who's really struggled all year long until these last few games. His offense was great again tonight. It's been the last couple games. What's been the turnaround for him on the offensive end?
I think his aggression and his confidence. It's amazing, you know, what guys can do when they believe in themselves and when their teammates are picking them up. You know, we can go into all the numbers and analytics, but they can't put a formula for that. And, you know, Drew is, you know, he's living proof of it. You know, he's been given an opportunity, and he's taken advantage of that opportunity. So you got to respect a guy like that. You know, he was in the doghouse for a while. You know, was getting DNPs, but his opportunity came. He did all the things that he needed to do to be prepared. You know, he kept working, and this is the fruits of it.
You mentioned before the game the importance of limiting second chance opportunities. What did you feel like tonight was the difference? Because it seemed like you did pretty well on that.
I mean, the physicality and the effort to it. You know, we went into the game, you know, with that plan, and to a man, guys went after it. You know, we saw guys flying from the perimeter, coming up with rebounds, chasing down long ones, getting on the floor. You know, this is a really good offensive team. And if you give them multiple looks at it, they're going to make you pay. So, you know, credit to our guys again for just making those plays and making those efforts and coming up with those balls.
What was the thought or what was the game plan on Carl Anthony Towns, who was really quiet, had only 3 attempts in the first 3 quarters, was kind of largely almost a decoy at times out there with the way that you guys had denied him? What was the thought there, and how proud of you were of that execution?
I mean, it was the plan going in was to try not to let him play. You know, we wanted to limit his touches as much as we possibly could. And then when he did get it, we wanted to bring extra bodies to him. You know, Jermichael Green is a underrated defender. We value his defense a ton. And he did a really good job. And then Jarrell came in and did the same job, freeing up Mark a little bit to roam the paint and, you know, do what he does as one of the top team defenders in the league and paint protectors. And then, our smalls were active, and they came and were aggressive and tried to get the ball out of his hands. And I think we did a pretty good job of it.
JB, it looked like Deontay had a terrific game. Can you give us your thoughts? I'm interested in your thought on what's made the difference for Deontay's production, and especially on the defensive end.
Well, that's who he is. If he wants to, play in this league and he wants to last, he's got to use his natural tools and instincts. And he's a defensive-minded, shot-blocking, rebounding, and running big. And those are his strengths, and he needs to play to his strengths. So I think, having a clear mind of this is what I'm going to do when I get in the game, and then the opportunity to do it. There was question going into that fourth quarter, whether or not we should come right back with Mark. The staff said, give Dede that shot. We gave Dede that shot, and, you give guys like that an opportunity. That's the only way they grow. And in those moments in tight games, when the pressure's even more, they either sink or swim, and Dede's swimming.
Coach, just kind of running the clock back a little bit to, say a week ago, before you were named interim coach, and then coming into tonight's game, how would you describe the difference in mood? Did the week help things kind of settle down in the locker room so that all of the distractions were out of the way?
Yeah, I think so. But we played two really tough teams coming out of that. San Antonio, obviously, right? Cleveland, obviously. The first game in San Antonio, we had it down to 3, I believe, with about 5 minutes to go. And, the Spurs made one of those Spurs runs. But we felt like we competed to put ourselves in that position. The second game here against the Spurs, the same thing. We just couldn't make shots that night. You got to give them credit for what they did to us defensively. But the fight was there and the spirit was there. And then obviously on a back-to-back, that's probably one of the toughest back-to-backs you'll have to play to go into Cleveland like that after playing the Spurs and being in position where, we could have quit. We were down double figures at one point in that game. And, back-to-back, excuses. We could have laid down, but we didn't. So you could see the spirit. And, LeBron had to have, one of those special nights at the end to beat us. So it was there. And then you get an opportunity against a, really good Timberwolves team. The fight was there. The defense was there. And then tonight we made the plays to get the win.
Anything else? How big of a relief is this win?
It's a big relief. We came here and played hard, played together, and unselfishly, and we got to our spots, and it's a big relief.
The effort and the execution back to where it was maybe at the beginning of the season where you guys started off so well. We were executing, we were sharing the ball. We got great finishes. Guys are confident in their game, and we had great bench production. Not only the offensive execution, but defensively, what did you guys change in the second half to keep Teague and Butler from getting to the rim?
We were just really, into them on every single screen and roll. That's where they were mostly scoring off, screen and rolls, and we played really great on there, and then we especially, we finished on defensive glass. We didn't let them get that many offensive rebounds.
You guys have had so many close ones slip away. What was talked about in that last game?
We weren't going to switch anything. We were going to fight through everything and, guard the basketball straight up. And, we made their actions tough, and, we weren't letting a 3 get up.
What was going through your mind dealing in that last possession when you got the switch on Carl Anthony Towns?
I was just trying to keep him in front. He was trying to fake, and I felt like I knew he wanted to take the shot. I was just trying to stay right there, and he kind of bailed me out with a jump shot because I was right there for the contest.
Where does the competitive edge come from? Because it seems like when you get the guys, the high-level guys in the league, you really compete on the defensive end.
I'm just trying to play against the best, and learn. At Oregon, I was an offensive, juggernaut, but right now, we got guys that are already like that, and I just want to be, have a role on this team. That's guarding the best players, from the beginning to the end. I love the challenge, and I want to gain that aspect in my game.
Dylan, can you talk about how the other guys on your team lift you up through this losing streak as you guys are, as you are a rookie? Can you talk about some of the leadership on the team?
Most of the guys say, stick with it. I'm new, to, losing that many games. In the college season, there's not many games being played. So, I just always stuck through it, stick with my routine, stick with that losing mentality and just try and fight through it.
What does it mean to you to get this losing streak out of the way?
Oh, it's great. You got a lift, and, we feel like we're a confident bunch right now. And, we can go anywhere and win just by following the game plan and just playing tough and playing together.
Wednesday, next game against New York, what are you looking forward to?
I'm looking forward to being in the Garden. I've never been in the Garden. In high school, I was like a game away to play in the Garden. I can't wait to see the floor, get a taste of it all. And, I want to guard, Tim Hardaway.
Are you nervous at all playing in the Garden for the first time?
No, not really. We play in Quick Loans Arena with so many fans, and I've never seen someone like that. I'm just ready to play and ready to get to New York.
Thank you.
No problem.
Talk about how you stepping up lately with a lot of guys going down. Talk about how you want to step up and show the level of confidence you show lately.
I just want to do what I do, and that's playing hard for this team. A lot of guys are injured. Wish they're still here playing with us because we need all the bodies we can. But we got to stick together as a group and just keep believing in each other.
What about upcoming game Wednesday against New York? What are you looking forward to?
Just come out with the same focus. Just play hard. Hopefully we get the win. We're gonna battle.
Thanks, Sam.